Today I'm just going to talk about a topic that me and my um, kid's father have been discussing over the last 2 days. I'm a bit tired, sorry. I'm expecting another baby, so I've been away for a little while. But yeah, well, I sent him a podcast that I stumbled across. I think it was Raising Boys to Men, and he sent me at the same time he was in a discussion with um, his boys on men, whatever they like to be called, on a WhatsApp group that he has, one of these male WhatsApp groups that he's a part of, and it was about 50 Cent's son, um, talking about £6,700 a month is not enough child maintenance um, for him. I think I'm not gonna dive into that too much. Just giving you some base on how we got into the discussions we were getting into. It's still going on now. Actually, we've just been debating, going backwards and forth for 2 days, and child maintenance is a sore subject for us. Well, for him, I suppose. We have our own private arrangement. It was fine. He did his stuff, and all of a sudden, it's a bit crazy because he's very bitter about it. We have a good working co-parent relationship at the moment. It's been up and down, but stuff has happened recently that is challenging, which I will discuss at another time. But right now, with what I'm talking about right now, is it's a sore subject for him. He's bitter about it, and I can't understand, because it doesn't make sense when we talk about it, what exactly he's bitter about. It just goes round in circles, and I've kind of gotten to realize that he does this thing where, where he's not making sense, he just goes to another dimension with with what he's saying that doesn't make any sense to what we're talking about. So it's like a lose-lose situation. So I'll just stay quiet, and even if I said, well, do you want to just stop paying? No, that's not what I want to do. No, it's fine. I don't want no one saying anything. So there is really no point. But the whole point is, I know he's bitter about our subject. So sometimes when we're discussing or when things get brought up, he does, have a constructive conversation, but sometimes it can go a little bit left, and I have to try and steer it back. But the whole point is, I'm not going to get into whether or not it's enough for 50 Cent's son, and why he's claiming that it's not, because we don't know. There's things out there, but the fact is that we don't know. What I am going to tell you though is, whilst he was explaining to me what was going on in his group of mandem, and sending me content of what they thought and everything, I got quite irritated, and I just got a little bit sad. I was telling him it's really sad the way that the men he is surrounded by, whether it's verbally, physically, whatever. So I'm just going to use the word disgusting sometimes, in the way that they're talking about women, and you're supposed to be grown men. And I would say the same thing, vice versa, don't get me wrong. But it was just, the son's got this behavior towards 50s, 50, and he's, behavior is what his behavior is. So you wonder where the son got his behavior from. I'm just saying. So, but then, it on the group, it's just doing a lot of slandering the mother. that woman, that be whatever, yeah, poisonous, she poisoned him, she did. And I was thinking, what are you talking about? You know, it went from, is the amount enough, to that I heard a lot of stuff about the mother, and then even it went into the way that the son talks to 50, um, not being right, it's disrespectful. And I can have an opinion on that, and I do. I think that it is. But I think that comes from the parents. In any situation, I think that, you know, where your parents, I mean, where your children feel that it's, you know, okay, they're justified in speaking to you in a certain way. It's, you know, something you've obviously done something where they feel like they can, and it needs to be addressed. I think it needs to be addressed. My thing is, children get to a certain age and there's other influences and everything, but you know, when your child loves you, they tend to not want to disappoint you. Um, Obviously, it's not always the case, but um, this is what I was thinking anyway. So they were going on about, yeah, the way he talks and everything, and I said, well, doesn't that sound like 50 Cent behavior? They're going backwards and forwards. And to be honest, I feel a little bit uncomfortable talking about 50 Cent and his son's, um, you know, what might have happened and what might not have happened and what might have happened with the mother and all that stuff, because we can never know. We can never know, and it's, whether they're celebrities or whatever, it just feels so intrusive sometimes. But I just think that they put out content, and it wasn't positive, um, about each other, which, you know, things happen. But then I just think that, where was the thinking about the son in all of this dialogue? My thing is, what began to happen next is that on this group, um, my children's father started sending me content, and then some someone was saying that, you know, it's the mother's responsibility to make sure the son doesn't talk to the dad like that, and to say something to the son. And yeah, everything was about the mother, everything was the mother's fault, everything was, and I just you know, sometimes you just think, and I did say it, and I said, and there was a guy on that group, and he said what I was thinking and saying, what's this, you know? And you know, I said, oh, thank God, like, because I'm thinking, you're on this group with a whole heap of grown men, you know, from their late 30s to into their 40s, and there's no constructiveness that you lot can feed each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is that? That, what hope is that for, you know, the next generation, if this is the behavior that I'm hearing? Oh, women are toxic, it sounds like a mother's behavior that he's picking up, it's a woman's behavior that he's dealing with, all of this stuff. I was thinking, what kind of discussion is this that is happening? Because, you know, how is this helping any of you lot, um, with this kind of mentality? And then you know, we went into, you know, obviously men are bitter and about their situations, and obviously a lot of the men have to pay child support, and that came at the right time, but it was actually a real yawn. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, but yeah, you know, it had to come out. My whole point is, because I don't want to dwindle away, um, was what I just then decided is that, you know, you lot are part of the problem in um, what's going on in our generations of children and stuff. Because what are you feeding them? Oh yeah, it's the mother. And then we got into discussion, um, just about how likely it is that it is the other parent that is influencing um, the child's behavior towards the next. And we discussed this because we've been discussing this for a few weeks now with one of his family members as well, because something was transpiring in their family, and we were just, brainstorming. And it's my opinion, I'm not saying this is for everyone, but it's my opinion that if your child grows up with you and you're an active parent, mother or father, throughout the child's life, they get to know you. You know, the love is built, the bond is built, and everything. So when another parent tries to drag them into an argument, or try and whisper things in their ear, that child would generally be like, keep me out of it, or no, that's not true, or they would know, and they would be angry against the parent that's trying to pit them against the other. And I've got my own experiences. I have my son, and his father's very active from start to present in his life, and now in our grandson's life as well. Very good father. And obviously there's things that I wouldn't like, I don't like, or I think could be better, and there's things that he wouldn't like, or things that he would feel could be better. But there was some bitterness on his part, because I ended the relationship, and I didn't realize that the bitterness went continued. But so when it was, and I've always been of, don't talk to your dad like that. So where these guys on the group were saying, oh, the mum should intervene, I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. But to say it's her responsibility, like another guy, a group said, that's not her responsibility, especially they're not getting along and they think it's not her responsibility. I don't think it's her responsibility, but my whole thing is, I would feel that it's my responsibility. I would feel that it's my responsibility, but I can't tell another woman that it's their responsibility, or another, do you know what I mean? Because the father is the father, so it's his responsibility to sort out his relationship with his child. And but I can't hear my children talk to their father in a certain way, and not, yo, I might have a problem with him, but you don't get to have that, that tone or that language. That's just not, what I'm about. And I literally had to have this conversation with my daughter's dad as well, because he thought I was whispering stuff in my daughter's ears, thinking, what kind of foolishness? Do you know that when you whisper things in your children's ears about their next parent, you're hurting your children? It's your children that's feeling what you're saying. It's them like, oh, it's them suffering. Listen, I'm a mad woman. I'll just put it out there. There's madness in me. There's craziness in me when it comes to my children. I don't want my children hurt. I don't like to see them hurt. Even when I'm disciplining them, I'll sit there, was it a bit too much? And then I'll wait a little bit for it to sink in that, they just got, a little telling off and everything. And I have to go and cuddle them. I have to go and, all right, everything's fine now, but, and, make sure they're all right and everything. I don't want my children hurt. So, and I just think that generally parents don't want their children hurt. So it just gets a bit silly when you can't pull yourself back from an argument with your ex or whoever, and realize, okay, hold on, no, this is between me and you, and let's keep the children out of it. And sorry, to go back, I was gonna use my son's situation as an example. Lovely dad and everything, but he was bitter that I ended the relationship and it continued. And then what happened in my son's older years with things that was going on in his dad's new relationship, he's not allowed to talk to or interact with this side of the family at all. That's your past, and each to their own. It's no effect on me. My son's a grown man now, so it's fine. But the whole point is that he did whisper into my son's ears. But the thing is, what that did was make my son angry with him. It didn't diminish their relationship because he has been in my son's life from the beginning to the end. We were together, you know, lived together, everything, and he's remained, and our families are very, very loving towards each other and very much still close and will remain so. But the whole point is that my son, because both of us was present in his life, throughout his life, he knows me, he knows his dad, he can tell truth from lie, you know, and he didn't understand why his dad would try and make him angry with me anyway, because on my side, he knows that no matter what I think about his dad and what his dad's done through his bitterness and through, you know, his new relationship, I have always instilled that he remains respectful and I don't whisper things in his ears. And I just think that because it hurts the child. So my thing is now is we're having this discussion about what is right and what is wrong. But what your opinion is on what is right and what is wrong, and you bashing, you know, a woman that you don't even know, it then just makes me think, what are you doing in your own situation? Because it doesn't seem like you have anything in you to offer any kind of peace or any kind of, okay, common ground. So when you know, people, men or women, are complaining about their other half, or they did this or they did that, I think that it would serve people to read between the tone and the things that are being said. Because I'll tell you one thing, I have you know, male friends come to me and slander their you know, baby mothers, their exes, or their current partners, and I have to give them a side eye and be like, hold on, where you have other women that will sit there listening to the story and start, yeah, she's this, and you're hearing one side of the story. You're not in the relationship. You don't know what feelings is going on there. Do you understand? Even when, you know, the girls get together, I like my group of friends actually, because I think they're quite constructive. When they get together, obviously sometimes we might go off the rails, like, oh, we're in our feelings. But, you know, there's always someone to bring us back. And this is what I was looking for in that group. And there was somebody that did that. And then, you know, a lot of them started turning around. Okay, yeah, I know I'm being a bit silly and all that stuff. And that's what you need. You kind of do need that. But then if that person's not there, what are you just doing? Running with the narrative that all women are this and all men are that. And then, you know, because that's the narrative that you're used to feeding, you don't even realize that you're doing it. Your kids are picking up on this, and then it's just, do you know what I mean? But yeah, I literally just wanted to share that with you. I don't know what you might think on the topic. Sorry, it might be all over the place, but it's just that I just don't think that it's down to one parent to make sure that the relationship between the child and the other parent is okay. You have to put in the work. Mother and father, you have to put in the work. And if you see that your child is building up anger and stuff from a young age, come on now, what you take responsibility in it. Take responsibility. Don't pass the back. Yeah, because my daughter's dad did start saying, oh yeah, well, it sounds like it must have, yeah, I really didn't want to hear that. He did come back around, but you know, it says, yeah, people you know, destroy relationships between father and child all the time. And I just don't, unless it's one of those situations where, it's they're stopping the child from seeing and all that stuff, and the child is isolated from you, um, no matter how much you're trying and all that stuff. Because that's one thing I struggle with as well. I don't want to go too much into it, because I want to go off the subject. Is when fathers, oh, she won't let me see her, or if it's vice versa, because I do know a few situations where it's vice versa, where it's the dad that has the child, and you know um and they're saying, oh yeah, and the mother's saying he won't let them see her. Sometimes it might be the case and sometimes it might not, but then you got to look at why as well, which is all for another subject. I am going to literally touch on the, allowed to see the child, allowed not to, when I'm going to touch on that on another topic. But my whole point is, that you have to take responsibility for your relationship with your children, and if the other parent is making it difficult, you have to be seen, to, no, I don't even know about seeing, it doesn't even matter about that, but you have to be actively trying to see your child, not just relaxing back and talking about, oh yeah, she won't let me see, so I'm not seeing. In my situation, it's like we're walking on eggshells. We get along, but we walk on eggshells, because whereas it was being told to everyone, oh, that I'm not allowed to see the child. Never in a million years has that ever happened. But the stories are told for people to take sympathy, or for whatever reason. I don't even bother try get my head around the foolishness that goes on. It's best to just leave it as foolishness, otherwise you get into all sorts of friggin' toxic arguments, and where you could just be like, okay, that's foolishness, there's no need to pay that any mind, because that's not. But then you have people coming up, other people that getting themselves involved in, you was doing this and you was like, what are you talking about? And not gonna say, anyway, I'm trailing off a little bit. The whole point is, I'll revisit those kinds of topics another time, but the whole point that I was making is that, yes, and I'll say again, I think I've said it so many times now, parents need to take responsibility to for being actively involved in their children's lives, and building that relationship with their children, so their children know that they do love them. They shouldn't have to find that out from another parent, or be influenced or anything. If you're present, it should be known. If you're present and active, um, I believe that it should be known. Correct me where you think I'm wrong, educate me, that's fine. But yeah, I just literally wanted to share that with you guys today. So let me know what your thoughts are. And thank you for listening and watching.